So in many countries now there is a rising incidence of obesity and still a lot of undernutrition, and classically they have been dealt with separately. Separate government departments, separate funding agencies, separate professions have been looking after it, and yet they are caused by the same problem, which is the food system. And it doesn't make sense to deal with them separately, or even to deal with just the manifestations. Change the food system underlying it so that it's healthy, so that you have food variety, food quality, and that will deal with both. The dialogue, the discussion in the past has been undernutrition, not enough calories. Obesity, too many calories. If that's the narrative, it doesn't join up. But if the narrative is food systems, healthy food, variety of food, quality of food, then you have a single narrative to be able to reorient food systems for both. And climate change. And climate change, so about a quarter to a third of greenhouse gases come from the food system. In my country it's 50%, it's probably more than a third in Chile. And so changing the food system to reduce greenhouse gases is fundamental to getting reducing climate change and global warming. And then again, it makes sense to look at this collectively at a food system level. And if you do that, then you can have what we call triple duty actions, where one action down here can have a benefit on climate change and undernutrition and obesity. So, for example, a simple example is dietary guidelines which are sustainable dietary guidelines, which then leads to advice to consumers about what they should choose. Dietary guidelines also lead to food policies, for example in schools. They lead to education materials, and you're dealing with it all three together. The same is true for example, beef production or dairy production. If that gets reduced, that's actually very good for climate change. We know that a high meat consumption is related to cancers, a little bit obesity, but mainly with cancers. And also we know that beef and dairy production uses up a lot of land. It's a very inefficient way to feed populations through animals, and often that land can be used much more efficiently to produce more fruit and vegetables and more crops, and so improve undernutrition. Yeah, for wealthy countries and countries that have a high meat consumption, we need to reduce our meat consumption. I know, and same in New Zealand. But that's the deal. If you live in Ethiopia, they need to increase their meat consumption because they have a lot of undernutrition and it's good quality products. So overall across the world, maybe meat production doesn't need to go down, but we need to redistribute it. And the wealthy countries that eat too much need to pull back. That creates a lot of problems and a lot of pushback from the meat lobby group and the dairy lobby group. But that's what the science is saying. At the moment, I don't know the case for Chile, but in my country, we have an education system that teaches children about healthy eating and then feeds them junk food from the school canteen. So at the moment, the education system is undermining its own messages. So we need to align those for a start. I think in countries like Japan and Korea, where they have fantastic school food systems that are not only feeding children healthy food, but also maintaining the traditional foods, the traditional diets, sending the recipes home to the parents, getting the kids engaged with it, is creating the whole culture and cuisine around healthy food and healthy traditional food. So schools are a great breeding ground for maintaining the culture, the good parts of the culture and the cuisine. It is possible. We change habits all the time, and it's hard. If you want to know how to change habits, we have to look at things where we have changed our habits. How have we changed our habits with smoking? How have we changed our habits with drink driving? How have we changed our habits with seatbelt use? You know, you need regulations, you need strong messages, you need taxation in some cases, subsidies in other cases, public education campaigns. All of those things will change people's behaviours, and we have changed. If you look over a period of time, over the last decades, actually people have become more responsible in their health behaviours. You know, tobacco and alcohol and drink driving and safe sex and all of those things have improved.
So we have to do it in... Yeah.
We have to apply those same principles to healthy eating, and we just haven't largely in most countries. And it doesn't change quickly, but governments can change that if they want. They can... Yeah, making healthy choices the easy choice. So the warning labels is a good example. If I want to have a healthy diet and I have all this processed food and I don't know whether it's healthy or not, then having something like the warning labels helps guide me to make my choice. Makes the healthy choice the easy choice. If in schools, you know, the healthy choice is the only choice, that would be good. If when I come to the supermarket and I want to make some choices, if the unhealthy foods have been taxed more and they cost more, and the healthy foods have been subsidised and they cost less, that will help me in my choices. So there's lots of structural things that can happen, as well as the education and the persuasion that comes from social marketing.